Hello, I'm Lyle DeVries, a consultant assisting the South Dakota Department of Transportation with the Black Hills Context-Sensitive Corridors Study. For this portion of our meeting, we turn our attention to SD 473, locally known as Nevada Gulch Road from US 85 to the Terry Peak ski area. This corridor is approximately 3 miles in length and is identified as Corridor 5 within the study. This presentation covers the unique transportation needs and the improvement concepts proposed for the corridor, and will provide an opportunity for you to explore some of the more critical focus areas. At the end of this presentation, you will be given instructions on how to review improvement concepts in more detail and provide your comments. This corridor has been identified as a destination access corridor. Improvements identified to help the roadway better meet its primary function include increased shoulder width, intersection enhancements, and strategies to help drivers manage poor weather conditions. Actions proposed in this phase of the study reflect needs identified in earlier phases through work with SDDOT staff, public meetings, and discussions with agencies with a vested interest in the success of the SD 473 corridor. In phase 1 of the study, corridors were characterized based on their current and/or desired function in the regional highway network. The SD 473 corridor was identified as a destination access corridor. Its primary purpose is to provide access to the Terry Peak ski area, but also provides access along its length to adjacent homes and businesses, including a concentration of private residential properties within the eastern portion and the recreational uses at the west end. Also located at the west end of the corridor is the Wharf Mine, a property that generates truck traffic along the highway. To function optimally, the highway must balance adjacent access with efficient and safe end-to-end travel. The highway gains elevation moving east to west with a grade of 8 to 12%. The particularly steep portion located mid-corridor as shown here. This grade causes travel difficulty, particularly during wintry conditions. Shown here in blue, the westernmost portion of SD 473 was recently reconstructed, so no improvements are identified for this section as a part of the study. This corridor contains a rich context of scenic views and environmental resources. Accordingly, improvements to its transportation functions are balanced to complement the unique character of the roadway. To ensure a successful balance, each of the improvement types have been reviewed by SDDOT staff, as well as representatives from local jurisdictions to ensure adjacent property, access, and stream impacts are appropriately considered. Once you have viewed the improvement concepts, our team is eager to hear your input on how well the improvements complement the context of the highway. Strategies developed by the team to help Corridor 5 better fulfill its purpose while complementing the context include several improvement types. Modifications to the road cross-section are proposed. The first example of such modifications shown here are current and proposed typical sections near mileage reference marker 91.2 at the corridor's east end. The current cross-section for the roadway here reflects a lane width of 12 feet and little or no shoulders. The proposed section for the corridor includes 12-foot lanes and paved or a combination of paved and gravel shoulders of 6 feet. To safely support improved travel time requires looking outside the lane and shoulder area to remove obstacles such as trees to establish a clear zone of about 10 feet on either side of the roadway. Widening activities would occur on the side of the road opposite the existing stream to minimize impacts. These individual design elements combine to reflect a corridor section of 40 feet, which is about 12 feet wider than the current. A second example shown here are current and proposed typical sections a short distance away. The proposed cross-section here is similar to the prior example, though roadside conditions change and would introduce more complexity and cost here. The proposed section for this location includes 12-foot lanes and again, the paved or gravel shoulders of 6 feet and a clear zone of 10 feet on either side. Again, widening would occur opposite the stream to minimize impacts. That widening may impact existing embankments at this location and others like it along the corridor, requiring steep back slopes or walls. These individual design elements here combine to reflect a corridor section of 44 feet, which is approximately 18 feet wider than current. Additionally, from a design perspective, the existing intersection at Terry Gulch Road with Nevada Gulch Road is expansive and not well defined currently. The proposed improvements would modify the roadway surface within the intersection to improve traffic operations and safety. This enlarged view depicts the proposed improvement, which would bring Terry Gulch Road in at more of a right angle to SD 473. There are several properties along the corridor that introduce multiple vehicular accesses within a short distance along the highway, creating multiple vehicular conflict points for turning movements. Shown here is a location at MRM 92 roughly, with multiple accesses to a small number of properties. Reconfiguring these accesses to continue to serve the property's needs while reducing the overall number of accesses would help to improve safety and efficiency. Another need is to create chain station opportunities along the corridor as depicted in the text callouts here at the east end of the corridor and farther along it to the west. Such stations provide a refuge for drivers needing to chain up to navigate the steep grades during inclement weather and snowy conditions and allow faster moving traffic to progress more safely and efficiently. The need for chain stations has been incorporated into the corridor concept. Improvements are also focused on reducing crashes. The corridor has several locations that reported crashes between 2013 and 2017, though very few concentrated areas of patterns. Widening the shoulders, defining the Terry Gulch intersection, reducing the number of accesses, and providing chain stations are proposed to help address crashes as well as support the needs of travel time improvements. In summary, improvements to Corridor 5 are directed toward enhancing travel safety and efficiency for regional and local, recreational, commercial, and residential traffic using the highway for its access purpose. In addition to the shoulder widening, the Terry Gulch intersection, access consolidation, and chain station improvements, the corridor concept also incorporates measures to enhance winter travel, including high friction surface treatment for the pavement along the steeper portions of the corridor, and the provision of a road weather information station paired with an electronic variable message sign at the beginning of the corridor to inform drivers of the road and weather conditions along the corridor. Improvements to flatten the steep roadway grade for Corridor 5 were also considered. These improvements would require a new horizontal alignment to maintain traffic during construction and large volume cuts and fills to flatten the roadway grade with impacts to private property and the environment. The anticipated cost and extent of impacts compared to the potential benefits were analyzed, and the high costs compared to the lesser benefit did not support further consideration of these improvements at this time. An initial review of present environmental resources indicates that current environmental resources that could be impacted by proposed improvements include wetlands, streams, potential historic structures, and national forest land. Visual resources are present throughout. A red-green circle rating system is provided and shown here in tabular form to allow for simple review of the performance of corridor improvements. Red circles indicate greater impacts or cost and less consistency with the design guidelines and the overall corridor vision. As shown, green circles are generally positive, denoting lower costs and impacts and higher consistency with design guidelines and vision. The identified vision for Corridor 5 is to enhance safety and efficiency of access. The proposed improvements demonstrate good consistency with that vision and would provide some additional consistency as well with the design guidelines, with the exception of the existing steep grade along a portion of the corridor that would remain due to the high cost for minimal benefit. Environmental impacts can be minimized by widening to the side of the road across from the existing stream. Some property impacts are anticipated with the roadway widening. The proposed improvements are of a moderate to high cost per mile due to widening, intersection realignment, and surface treatment needs. Thank you for viewing this presentation. To learn more about Corridor 5, click the orange Get Started Now button located below this video. This will take you to the Corridor 5 improvement map, where you can click on locations and icons as shown here to view and provide feedback on conceptual improvements. Thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you.